Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Good evening. It's almost evening, but thank you for being here. You're here for you and to learn more about you and to learn about how unique you are and the tools and the ability that you have within you. You're here to become aware of it. And not only become aware of it, start applying it to your life and see how life will change. And life won't be the same anymore. I can assure you that. I'm Taha Habib, co-founder of Mastermind. I'm a certified coach from Procter Gallagher Institute, and I've been doing this for a few years with Abraham. And this has not only improved our life and has not only helped us reach our goal and become a better person, but also inspired us to help others, because end of the day, we understood that all of us are built same in design and we're built same and we just have we might have a different gender, different color, but end of the day, we all have the same power. We just need to be aware of it. And we're here, these seminars, monthly seminars, we're here to let you know that. And also, if you are interested to work on you in order to see a better outcome in your life and your reality, we have programs to help you to reach the life that you want. But the key is to do the work. And do the work first, learn, and not just learning to learn, but learn to apply. That's very important.
In this seminar, we're going to be teaching you about the law of vibration and what a lot of people call the law of attraction, but it's one law. And it's very important to understand that the way we think and the way we feel is telling you what you're thinking about. Feeling really is the secret telling you how you're vibrating and actually what you're attracting. And we're going to go through all of this information, and we're going to go through it with the teachings and the lessons. If you guys have any questions or anybody puts any questions on the Zoom link, Zach, would you let us know as well? We can also stop and do some Q&As depending on anybody having questions, and we enjoy your feedback as well.
Sure.
Get started?
Sure. We're going to, most of the individuals that are here, I see a lot of familiar faces. You know me, you know Abraham. You know, the purpose of I Am Mastermind is to help individual to become more conscious. And today we're going to start going through the mind, because we have to understand the mind in order to start working on ourselves, and everything is start with the mind. Do you want me to go with this, or you want to hold this?
You want to kick it off? You can.
Sure.
Or I can click it for you.
Yeah, no, I got it. No. Understanding the mind, as most of you guys know, this image here is just a representation of the mind, because we have to have an image to understand. If we don't have an image, we don't understand. And we have these assumptions of what the mind is. Dr. Tolman Fleet in 1934, he came up with this image. He was in a healing, in a healing business, and I mean business, what I mean by he was helping people. He was a doctor to help people heal internally, and he knew that we work with images, and if we don't have an image of mind, we won't be able to see what that is and start working with it. So he came up with this image. We call it a stick person, and you see that there's three parts to it. One, it's the top, and middle, and the bottom. The top one is conscious mind, and the middle one is subconscious mind, and The bottom one is the body. So basically, we're going to get into what does these parts of the mind, how they function, because ultimately your body is instrument of the mind, and as your body is moving because of the mind and of the way mind is ruling it, and we're going to get into that. So, as most of you guys know, that when we come to this world, when we're born, we come to this world, we have no idea and we have no styles of recognition of understanding where we came from. We come to a family, we see they have a certain culture, the way they communicate, they have certain language, they have certain events, they have some ideas about job, money, work, about politics, about everything. And we start hearing them, and the people that we're hearing, we start hearing the information, and we start putting that information in our subconscious mind, because our conscious mind hasn't developed yet. And we're just recording everything that we see and we hear in our environment. And at age of 7 and 8, our conscious minds start forming. And all that data that we receive from birth to age of 7 and 8 basically is going to be, it's a bank of information that we start seeing the world from that information. And we start understanding the world from that information. So what I'm telling you is that's where your perception is. That's where you start interpreting your surroundings, your environment, your events, whenever other people talk, and your understanding comes from that interpretation that was formed in your childhood. And a lot of that information you might not remember, but those images are stored in your subconscious mind. And when you start developing consciously, you start developing your conscious mind, you start more or less think from the data that you have. And a lot of us can, and you can't put it to test, a lot of us can think today and decide, say, hey, I'm going to do something new that I haven't done before. But since this subconscious mind is in charge of you and it rules your body, you might put an effort for a few days to do something different and go up and try to achieve something different. But your subconscious mind is programmed to keep you where you're at. So we have to, before we go a little further and discuss that and talk about that, this is very important. I want you guys to go to your worksheet. Go to your worksheet page. I want you guys to take notes, because this is what you need to learn. I know you guys are hearing me and shaking your head, but there's a lot of information. I want you guys to write it down and have that inner talk with yourself of what you're understanding, because that inner talk of understanding of what you're understanding today, it's going to help you. I want to thank Autumn here. She's done a great job of putting this information together, and obviously Zach behind the scene helping us. I want you guys to go page 3. If you're watching this online, you don't have access to these books. The only individual that are here in person, they have these books. But we're demonstrating the mind. So you see that page, it says mind. I want you guys to start writing what you're understanding, the points, the main points of your conscious and subconscious mind. So here, let's go over it. Let's go over, start with our conscious mind. Our conscious mind is our thinking mind. We can think anything we want. We can imagine anything that we want. Our conscious mind is our educated mind, is our intellect. We can choose, we can accept or reject. And also, our conscious mind has a very important function, 2 important functions. 1, we can imagine. 2, we can originate thoughts according to what we're thinking. So I want you guys to write down, what are those most important things that you learned right now about conscious mind? 3 important points. Somebody might see this image of the mind and It might be funny to you guys, or you guys might underestimate it, but the concept behind this, it's going to definitely change your life. Are you ready? So we're going to write about conscious mind. So what are the 3 important things that you think about conscious mind now that you understand?
One of the first things I put down was like awareness,
Yep.
being able to know what you're aware about.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
It's your automatic
It's your
automatic emotional state, your senses.
What do you mean it's...
Well, if you can't accept or reject, it's your automatic response to a situation. So if you're consciously thinking about your subconscious or your unconscious, you're aware of the program, and then you can change it if you're consciously aware of it.
Correct. So when we are expressing ourselves, that expression comes from our subconscious mind. We might be aware and start expressing and responding consciously different than what we usually do, but that is a true conscious effort, but our automatic comes from our subconscious, but we're going to get to it.
Got it.
So the 2 important things I want you guys to understand about this conscious mind is a mind that you can imagine, and it's the mind that you can originate thoughts. What does that mean? That means when you start thinking about something that you want, after what you're thinking about, the ideas according to your original thoughts is going to come after that. Let's say I'm thinking about, go ahead.
So you're asking, I couldn't hear very clearly. Are you asking about the conscious mind or subconscious?
Conscious mind.
Okay, that's where I did wrong.
Okay. So on the conscious mind, these are 2 functions. What does that mean? That means when I start thinking about something that I haven't done before, or I want to buy the house that I want, or a vacation that I want to go, or something that I think about, the ideas that comes after that, according to what I'm thinking, our conscious mind is originating that. And our conscious mind is going to give us, when we're looking for data and information, all of a sudden this idea comes to you. Why? And how did you intercept that idea? Through your conscious mind, according to what you keep thinking about. If you're thinking about things that you don't want, you're concerned and worried, the ideas are going to come according to that. If you're thinking about what you want, ideas are going to come according to that. Whatever you're thinking, that's what the support is you're going to get. That's how it's going to originate thoughts. That's why it's important when they say you have to think positive. That's why it's important to think positive. Positive meaning, there's no positive, negative. Positive meaning is instructive, help, going somewhere new, getting something done, creating something. So let's go to subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is our emotional mind. Our subconscious mind cannot reject. It must accept. Our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. And our subconscious mind is also our universal subconscious mind that connects us to everyone else. Our subconscious mind is also ruling our body. Everything that you do without thinking, everywhere you go, the conversation that you have, the things that you say out of habit, are from the ideas that are fixed in your subconscious mind. That's why it's so hard to change habits, because you do them and you constantly repeat them, and they are fixed in your subconscious mind, and you do it without thinking. A lot of us drive without thinking. A lot of us speak language without thinking, right? That comes from your subconscious mind. Also, so our subconscious mind is that mass of information of the data that I was earlier that I was talking to you guys about. That mass of information is what creating your life. So if someone wants to know what that mass of information is right now, they need to see what they're doing. What you're doing day to day, where you're going, who you're talking to, what you're talking about, what's your goal, what are your interests, what are you about, even the way you dress. Everything about you, it's this mass of information that is controlling you. So now, so far, we understand that there's something that is controlling us, right? It's controlling us, and it's telling us what to do, and we're acting as if what this information or bank of information or images that we have is basically controlling our life. Anything and everything. So what are the importance? I want to go back to subconscious mind before we move. What are important points of the subconscious mind that I want you guys to write here? Main points. Who can tell me?
One of the most important ones to me is just a habitual habit. What's continually consistent that's entering your mind.
That's paradigm. Multitude of habits, right, that are fixed in our subconscious mind. Okay? What else?
One was fixed memory.
What do you think? Yeah.
Limitations.
Yeah. 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 So that's one more thing that about subconscious mind that if you guys want to know is when you guys speak, when you speak or you're responding or you're saying something or saying your thought process, you're just declaring the situation or the images in your mind. And now we call it we're thinking. We're not really thinking. We're just announcing, like right, what I have here is a microphone, right? We're just announcing what's in there according to the context that we're facing. So important of subconscious mind is you got to understand, we're going to touch on these. Emotional mind, that's where your bank of information is, and that's what's controlling and conducting you and your life. So if you're getting up and doing things that you're doing, or the experiences that you create in your life is according to that mass of information that is in your file cabinet. Those data. Now, there's the good news. You guys are here to improve it. It can be changed. I said fixed ideas, but those fixed ideas can be changed through two ways. One, emotional impact. The other one is repetition. That's why it's important to repeat this information daily. And when I say you guys need to dedicate yourself to the personal development, is for this reason. Because when you start going through, you guys can start thinking about what I'm talking about the limited belief, the things that you don't like about yourself or images that you have that you don't want. You can think about it consciously all day, and you can name maybe 50 of them. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of ideas that you have that you're not aware of. It happened when you were 3 or you were 5 or you were 6 or even you were 10 and you don't remember it. So how are you going to become aware of it? Through different contexts and through different situations. You're going to say, oh, why did I think that way? Why do I want this? And that's when you start becoming conscious, monitoring your thoughts in different contexts. That's when you can improve yourself. So the function of the subconscious mind is also, as I said, is conducting, it's directing you. It's also ruling your body. So if you guys are moving, have you heard this term that I was in a right place and right time? Have you heard that? And you say there's no accident. Why would you say that there's no accident? I know a lot of people repeat it. I don't know why. It just sounds good. Right? It sounds good. I was in the right time, right place because I was. But that right time and right place is not accident. It's according to that data. That's what guiding you is your GPS. We're, as far as our the way we're living. Now we got to understand the conscious and subconscious mind and our body, right? Now the way we're understanding the world is through our senses, our five senses. Most important one, what we see and what we hear. And when we look at our outside world, which is based off of that manifestation of that information, because whatever we believe and we perceive, that's what we're living in right now, every individual. That we can't get into it further and tell you why I'm telling you. But when we live in that, we're going to start perceiving the outside world according to our senses. We're going to start seeing what we created in the past according to the way we were thinking, and we're going to start seeing it in the outside world. And more or less, we're going to interlife, make a decision, and move based off of what we see and hear outside world, and we start taking action, and more or less, we get same result. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Am I right? This is how we live, right? We live off of circumstance. We live off of where we live. We live off of the timing, the condition, economy. And then based off of that, we internalize those ideas and we start getting results. So what I'm telling you, up to now, I know some of you have been studying with us for a long time, but up to now, you thought you have control over your life. If you did, but you didn't. It was according to what's going on outside of you, according to the circumstance, according to the situation that you were going through. And according to that, more or less, you start building results. But not only that, whenever you want to do something or you want to go somewhere new, before you start making that decision, you start looking at your circumstance. For instance, if you want to go to a trip, some expensive trip, or you want to buy a bigger house, or you want to buy a car that you love, or you want to make more money, or you want to get that promotion, right? First, you start looking at your reality, you start looking at your bank account. Before you make a decision, is that what you truly want? Why? Because you're programmed to live like that, off of your senses. That's truly living in limitation, because we're not supposed to live off of our senses. That we're going to discuss a little bit more about faith, which we're going to talk about how we should truly live. That reminds me of a quote of Wallace Watless. He says, to think the truth regardless of appearances, meaning to do what you need to do, think about, imagine what you want to imagine, regardless if you have that circumstance right now, whether you have it or not. So when we go further, is there anything you want to add?
Let's give maybe some illustrations.
Sure.
Let's talk about conscious and subconscious. Let's see how much they picked up.
Sure. Who wants to go? Who wants to tell me what they picked up so far?
You talked about the conscious mind and the subconscious. Now, how do they interact? Mm-hmm. That's the key. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we're hearing about these two parts, but how are they working out? How's the process working out in us? Do y'all know how they work together? It's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, generally how I think about it is that the subconscious, like you said, is your paradigm. So that's your ruling, I'm going to say base of information. then through the basic information with your conscious mind, you're able to kind of see that's the peripheral you're looking at the world through. So it's whatever sort of your subconscious to your conscious, that's going to rule your conscious and what it is, your outlook on a lot of things.
Very good.
Good.
So as you're observing the world consciously, intellectually, we observe the world and we judge the world through this vision, through these, you could say like lenses. Mm-hmm. But the eyes that you are using is those programmings.
Yeah, it's regulated by what you have in your subconscious.
So you can relatively say this is your intellect, and if you use the world, it's like you're viewing the world through lenses. But the eyes that are looking through the lenses and judging things are your beliefs. Mm-hmm. What happens whenever you see a condition that you may want to acquire? What is the process? What happens? And you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, if it's something that you don't know how to do, you're going to hit a lot of. First, you're going to try to reason through it, and then you might not have anything to.
Who are you reasoning with?
You're reasoning with yourself.
Who's the self?
Your paradigm.
Massive information.
Yeah, what
You're going into that.
Your own storehouse.
There you go.
Inside.
So you're going into the filing cabinet and you open it and you look in there, and what happens when there's nothing in there to reason with?
I think that's relative, dependent upon the person, but I think generally most people are going to start. They might not even. There's nothing there, so they might not even attempt to look elsewhere. They might just accept the fact that there's nothing there.
Very good. So if there's nothing there and they open this baby up and there's no file in there for Lamborghini, what do they normally do?
That's it. They'll close the file.
Close the file. And then, so the subconscious, without them knowing it, the subconscious views what your eyes are looking at. It's viewing, and it's like it's observing what you're watching, and it's observing what you're thinking, and then it watches you think and says, you can't do that. And it'll even tell you, you can't do that. Mm-hmm. Why is it so important to know both parts? Because if you don't understand what these two do to each other, you don't know why your body is getting the results it's getting. And because it's unseen. Taha said it earlier, and he talked about the mind being unseen. And Dr. Thurman Fleet talking about he was going to draw this image in this picture. Because it's unseen and it's hard to connect the dots. You don't see the process of what? Creation and elimination. The process of creation and elimination. This guy doesn't have it in there. He shuts the box and tells his intellect, get out of here. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So so let's put this to test, right? If I ask you guys, what do you want? Right? And I'm going to ask everyone here, what do you want? I don't want you guys to give me an answer, but I'm going to tell you what happened in your mind and tell me if I'm right. When I said what you want, you thought for a minute, maybe you thought what you truly want, but most of you thought what's possible for you.
Let's try it. What do you want?
So the first thing that came to my mind was freedom.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good analogy
good.
of
Yeah.
this, but
It's open, but it's not defined.
sure.
So what does that mean?
I guess to me it probably means that I'm still searching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why would we still be searching?
I would say because I'm going through that process of looking at what I have in that filing cabinet and maybe finding parts and pieces, but not a complete
Image.
image.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Beautiful. Anyone else?
Taha, when you asked this question, I genuinely didn't have any other thought. I know exactly what I want in life. I run through my head every single day. Mm-hmm. something that I naturally practice intentionally. So when you ask, what do we want? I want my business to be successful. It is important to me as much as what I do on a daily. It's probably just as important to me as my children.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know that like the back of my hand, and I refuse to let somebody change that for me. So
Yeah. So now you have a responsibility toward that.
100%
So what's your responsibility toward that?
to make it happen.
To keep thinking about it, right?
Yeah, I do every single day.
And take
Take
action
action,
for it.
yeah.
Right. So let's put this to practice. What happens here? First, I want to mention the point I was making. When you start thinking, or audience that are seeing us online, when you start thinking what you want subconsciously without being aware, you're going to look in there and see what's possible for you according to your past history, according to what other people say, according to your current circumstance, and you decide what's possible for you, not truly what you want. This happens to everyone, right? First of all, I want everyone to recognize that.
And go into the other part, depending on how they're wired.
Yeah,
Some people are more intellectual, some people are more creative.
absolutely. Absolutely. What I want to mention now, let's talk about what you want, right? You want that business, right? So let's go to practicing how the mind works, how those two function working. Where is that? Do you have?
You had it.
I'll put it in my pocket. Okay, so let's go through this again.
Okay.
You want a business, right? You thought about it, thinking mind.
Yes.
You're thinking about it, right?
Yes.
And you're choosing. And according to what you're choosing, you start originating thoughts. Okay, I need to go
Right.
do this, and you go do that.
Right.
Then you got to do what? You got to take action.
Right.
Right. And you keep repeating that idea. Who's in charge of your body? Your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is.
If I allow it to.
Your subconscious mind is, and I'll tell you why.
If you're aware.
Yeah. So subconscious mind, when you keep three things happening. You keep thinking about that idea. You keep believing in that idea.
Right.
Because your subconscious mind, your emotional mind as well, right?
Right.
And you start getting help. Idea comes to you according to what you're thinking about.
Right.
And you keep repeating that, and your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined.
Right.
Right? And then you're going to start taking the moves, and you're going to magically finding yourself that you have that business, and that business came to a fruition. That whole process happens quicker, happens more effective, happens more joyful when you understand the mind.
Right.
Here's another kicker, though. And I want everybody to understand this, too, because everybody's saying, well, I'm not that creative. And this is normal, because there's some people that won't just automatically think like he's saying.
Right.
Yeah.
The more somebody is more intellectual, the more you could say grounded they are. It's when we say thinking, we're talking about a process. Thinking is imagining.
Right.
Everybody thinks, that means everybody imagines. The difference is, how far do you imagine? When you're real intellectual,
Right.
you're not as creative. So then you're going to reason and you're going to think, and your imagination normally goes only so far, because you want to see how. And when you really want to see how, and you don't let yourself dream or be really creative, you limit your opportunities and abilities to see more clearly.
Right.
Because the intellectual part of you is taking the subconscious tools and is trying to framework with that. And when you're too intellectual, it just takes your framework, which is in the subconscious, and it tries to throw the image up, and it can't, because he's not used to being that creative.
Right.
But somebody that's very creative, you're very creative by nature. You're born that way. You're a dreamer, right?
Yeah. God created me that way.
Yeah. and you have no problem just drifting off and dreaming.
No.
Right? And you build these beautiful fantasies, and you can build them, and it's very simple for you, but not everyone's like that.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but understanding, this is why we're teaching the mind, because everyone's different.
Right.
The people that are more analytical normally won't imagine, or they won't dream, make their 2D a 3D as simple because they're very logical. That means they're not allowing themselves to get emotionally involved with the idea. And so they only go as far as what the box has in it normally. So everybody dreams and everybody imagines. Some do it with less restriction, right? And some with more. And depending on how big your desire is, will depend on how far, if you go with your, think about it as, what do you call those pixel sticks? Let's say it's information. You're gonna take what's in that drawer and you're trying to build something with that program. There's really no framework. But if you're very creative, you get a lot of framework. And then here comes the other process that Tom was talking about.
That process of origination of thoughts, when you keep thinking about that, I go back when I didn't have this information. I was working really hard and wanting to build the life that I built. I was always wondering how that strategy came, because when I look back, I said, well, this person came, this happened, that lead me to this. Like everything that happened, it seems like it happened so precise for me to be here that I am, right? Literally. So I was thinking how that strategy came to me. And that came to me through the thoughts that I was thinking, and because I was keep thinking about those thoughts, idea will come to me and a strategy come to me what to do next. However, there are 2 points here that you understand. One is we have those, everyone has the answer of what to do next. Right. Everyone has those instruction with themselves. The problem is we don't take action on them. That's another step. Because I said, who's in charge of your body? You said me. I understand that, but it's your subconscious. If you say, hey, this is what you need to do. If the idea comes, hey, this is what you need to do. You have to make a jump, right? And if you don't make that jump right then, guess what? You miss that opportunity. Right. A lot of people don't do that because of the fears. Because this subconscious mind is programmed for you, I'm saying you, not you, but for the individual to not become successful. We're designed to become successful, but when you look around, most of the people are not designed to make it. Right. Why? Because not lack of awareness and ignorance, and because the subconscious mind is designed. If you look at the masses, what are masses doing?
Playing safe.
Playing safe.
They're designed to play it safe. And if for what though? Why are they designed to play it safe?
I don't necessarily know why people are. I definitely think because, I mean, I have a whole view on that, which I probably wouldn't get into, but I would definitely say that not very many people are meant to do. I mean, they can, but they don't. You know, but I just feel like the world is not meant to be, you know, it just holds everybody back in a way. So
I want you to think about this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we don't analyze why some people play it safe, some people don't, and everybody's at different levels, right? Think about our nature is to do what? Survive. Right. Who said that? Okay, because we want to survive. If we look at, if we pay attention, the program on average, the average individual through a lifespan normally gains 10, 15, 20% from their family. So every generation, normally the growth is 15%, maybe 20. So what is it doing? The body was created and built to keep itself safe. So depending where you fall, when we are spirit, we came into a body. So depending what family you came into, according to that family's program.
Ideas, yeah.
Ideas. So that means you inherited already, maybe you inherited $20,000 income. Right. This other person already inherited a $50,000 income. And this person over here inherited a $100,000 income. But they're all designed to play it safe. So once they hit that 15 to 20% stretch, they're designed to what? Play safe again. So that's why you see so many different people at so many different levels, because all according to how far their family stretched and stretched them, the new child that comes in has the automatic. So then you're seeing all the different levels of stretchings of the people that stretch more or less, but almost majority of them, because we're supposed to what? Save the future. Why? We're supposed to stay safe so that we don't what? Annihilate ourselves.
Yeah.
So the survival mode kicks in. Maybe your family is earning 50. So you're going to go for 70 to 100. Once you get to there, the automatic says, okay, we've done enough. We're good. But then you'll see somebody else doing 200, and their safeguard was they were already at 200, and they're going to go for 250 or 3, right? So that's why you see everybody trying to stretch, trying to grow, but also you see that they're going to limit themselves at some degree, because they finally get to the point where they say, that's enough. We're the only ones that can limit ourselves.
I believe that.
We're the only ones that can tell ourselves, okay, we've grown enough.
Yeah.
Because we were given what? Free will. We get the ability to choose. But if we don't understand this,
We think the world is designed that way.
Yeah.
We should change that. The world is designed for us. When you truly understand this, the world is designed, this premises that we live in, is designed to really bring into fruition who we are. So everyone is creating their life. Everyone. And the universe is working for everyone equally, because universe is what we're working with is not biased, it's neutral, right?
Okay.
Whatever you think, you're right.
Yeah.
Whatever you think, whatever this subconscious mind, I said earlier mentioned, right? I said is our universal mind as well. Whenever I think about whatever, if I think this world is not a good world, guess what? You got to experience it.
Yeah.
and
If
find
I-
everyone to tell you.
Yeah. And you find everybody to tell you, you find yourself in different situation to affirm its belief.
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? We're always affirming, unless we're conscious and aware and say, you know what? No, this doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
I've been affirming and I have playing with the wrong ideas. I can't change that. And through repetition of changing those ideas, you start seeing a shift in your reality, and you start seeing different people, different circumstance, different situation. What happened? You change.
Yeah.
When you change, the universe or the earth or the whatever you believe in,
Right.
it responds to you accordingly.
Circumstances.
So what we're talking about here, I want to continue asking those questions. So these are the good conversation you need to have a better understanding of how this works,
Right.
and why it works the way it works, and how can you intellectually start redirecting it and putting it on a path that's going to serve you and help you.
You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think personally for me, what helped me a lot was recognizing why. So when you said that you started asking yourself, like, this happened, how did I get here? And you just start putting those pieces together. It makes sense. I think I spent a lot of time in silence on purpose, intentionally, because I feel like that's the only way that I can really think,
Imagine.
right? And I think it took a lot. It wasn't easy getting to where I am today, to where I can literally say nobody can change my mind.
Yeah.
I am on my path. I know. But it took a lot of, like you said, self-awareness and going through those, I guess, childhood files, right? That was limiting me, and allowing myself to say that's not going to keep happening. So, I think for me, that's really what happened. That's kind of how I got to where I am.
That's huge, which most of people deny, that the problem is me. I need to face the mirror, face myself, and see what is it inside of me that I need to change.
Right. Asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The my, why, me, the me questions, like, what am I doing? So,
Yeah.
and then just doing it. And like you said, it's really won't work unless you put action to it. And like, I'm really religious too. So, in the Bible says faith without works is dead. So if you tell yourself and you allow like your environment to be your crutch, you're always going to use that as a crutch. And so for me, I said, no, not me. So, I know everything that goes on my mind. I don't watch a lot of TV on purpose because I allow myself to intentionally think about everything that I do, what enters my mind, what I'm allowing the environment and the world to teach me,
Yeah.
because that's what's happening. It's if I'm every day you're learning something from your environment. If you're allowing it to teach you something and you believe whatever you're being taught and you're not really thinking it through and allowing your conscious mind to step in, you're going to continue to do this hamster wheel thing. And I just told myself, no, I think about everything on a deep level.
Yeah. Otherwise, their thoughts become yours.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah. I turned off the tubes a long time ago.
Yeah,
I didn't want to get with
you
it.
kind of have to. It's a hard thing to do, but we're here at Mastermind. You really have to master your mind. It's like tell yourself, like, I'm in control every single day. If I'm walking through my house, my kids will tell you one thing that I always say: I have to be responsible. I have to be responsible. I have to be responsible. It's like in my mind, it's like I'm telling myself, reminding myself, I have to be responsible enough to hold on to everything I do intentionally. That is mine. I need to be responsible. It's not you. It's not Billy Joe who told it's me.
Yeah.
Let's stop right there. I need to be responsible to hold everything that I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
But that really means you're holding responsibility to an image.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was unseen.
Yeah. God put me on this earth to be creative. So
Isn't that beautiful?
it's like a whole vibe. Yes.
And if we hold on to the unseen, it very soon becomes the
Same.
seen.
Yeah. And it works so easily. Like when you start living your life like that, I mean, now, like you said, I literally look at my life and I can pinpoint how everything led me to where I am today. And that's how I know exactly where I'm going,
Yeah.
because it's just that easy now, right? Starting off, I hated life.
Yeah.
It's hard, it's hard trying to change your mind.
Yeah.
You really can't unless you
But
really
what did
are
you hate?
intentional. I hated that my mind was fighting me.
The ideas.
Yeah.
Again, unseen.
And it just becomes easier and easier.
Yeah, it gets easier. So I
Yeah.
think now, today,
Practice.
if you were asked me today, I can tell you with a smile on my face, like with all certainty.
Yeah. If you would understand, I talked about this all the time. I think one of the seminar I teach this. If you truly understand those limited beliefs that you have, they're just ideas, energy, you can just get rid of them
Right.
and start believing in something new. That's how easy it is. But if you're aware,
I think ultimately, it's really a lack of belief within ourselves. Like for me, I knew what I could do, and I would always get so angry because it's like my body kept stopping me. It's like, why? And until the questions kept coming, it's like, why? And I was just like, question, why? Like, we want this. We want it. Like, why are we not doing it? Why are we not, we as in me, why am I not going after these things? And I would get so mad at myself, like I'm sitting in quicksand or something,
Until you started entertaining better ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be this person that keeps telling myself I'm going to do something and then don't do it. That's insanity. It's crazy. It's driving me crazy. And so I said, no. So today, if I want to do something, if I tell myself I'm going to do it, I used to wear this bracelet that said, because I said I would. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
yeah.
Determined imagination. Do you have a fixed goal for your business? Do you have the financial revenue that is giving? Do you have that?
I do.
Right.
And I have a full business plan process. I just, it's something that this is what we work on every day, my brain. Like
Good.
yeah,
Because that gives what?
I'm just going to put it into fruition. It's going to happen.
It
It's
brings a
results.
direction.
Yeah.
A lot of people will set a goal without a number. And that leaves it what?
Leaves you sitting there doing the same thing.
Open.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yep. To no degree. So the universe, universal intelligence works with numbers.
Right.
Always has. Always with degree.
Right. And I think the biggest thing for me too is aligning it with faith, right? You cannot do this without having unlimited faith within yourself and the process. And like you said, it is unseen. I would bring up another Bible situation here, but honestly, faith is not through the eyes. You have to, it's really in the ears, it's in your head. It's what you see and what you feel. So if you truly believe in whatever higher power you have in the world, you would allow yourself to say, I am supposed to be abundant. I am supposed to be ...
Yep.
And
Seeing,
be.
seeing is not believing.
It's not. It's
Believing
faith. That's
is seeing.
false,
False faith. Believing is seeing.
right?
Very good. You want to give another question on process?
Sure.